rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Welcome to episode 198 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast, Balance and Energy. This came to me actually today when I was out doing my power walk. But being out there, being out in the fresh air, being out in the sunlight. Today I was walking down along the canal. Very, very nice, very beautiful, fresh air, just a different vibe, different energy. And that kind of thing really does a lot for me. It really helps settle me. It helps me refuel and recharge. And I was thinking about how we use energy in our lives, and then how we need to somehow really figure out ways to balance our lives so that as we're expending energy, we're able to rebuild energy. So I was thinking about that today because I always come out of these walks feeling so much better. Same as a workout, but I find the walks for me have something very different, very calming. It gives me clarity. Whereas a good workout, burns a lot of calories. I breathe hard. I get a good pump. I feel alive, but it doesn't have that same type of clarity for me. Anyway, everyone's a bit different. And needless to say, either activity is very beneficial. So what I was thinking about is, how do we use up our energy throughout our day and our days and our lives and what we're doing? And we've talked before about, are we doing the things we want to do? Are we living the life we want to live? If we're doing things that we're passionate about, then, work and vacation feel the same. But that still requires energy. That's still going to take energy from you. I want myself and I want people out there to discover their zone of excellence, their wheelhouse. What is it that you do that you just love doing, and in your zone, you're in your element? You make it look easy to those looking around you. And that's where we need to figure out what's important, that we can do that as our livelihood, as our job, our career, our passion. My son's going off to university, and we were talking, and I said, he wants to become a teacher. And I said, son, if that's what you want to do, then I want you to pursue that with all your might. I want you to find a thing that makes you happy, that gives you the balance in life that you need, that makes you feel fulfilled, that allows you to become really good at something so that you own that. You have a sense of pride and accomplishment, and that it provides a life for you that you can, do the other things that you want to do. I said, I don't care if it's being a teacher, if it's being a welder. For me, if that's what you want to do with your life, that's what you should be doing, and that's what's admirable. In fact, if people can figure that out, they're going to be way ahead of the majority. There's too many miserable people out there doing things they're miserable about, but they're stuck because it's what they know. Or it's the golden handcuffs, as they say, where, you get a career somewhere, and then leaving would be too unsettling financially and emotionally, and discomfort with the unknown. Don't put yourself there. So we talk about finding that. What is it you love to do? In the gym, I love training. In the gym, I like working with clients. But what I really enjoy doing the most is building the brand, affecting people's lives, putting content out there that helps someone get their start so that they get to the point where they're feeling better and moving better, and they're losing weight, and they're stronger, and they're happier, and they find their path to move forward. I love doing that. I love being a part of that. And I like doing it through powerlifting. I like doing it through transformations. I love being at a meet, competing. I love being at a meet, running a meet. I love being at a meet, just being a vendor. And it's funny because in the last 4 weeks, I've kind of done all three. We ran a really big meet at our facility, and it went really well. Everyone had a great time. Biggest meet that we've ever run. Lots of excitement, lots of passion. Who doesn't want to be around that? Last weekend, I was at another meet, a little smaller meet, We had a booth there. We had our Iron Hoskier clothing there. It was great being around the powerlifting. It was great being around the clients. It was great being around the people. It was great selling our merchandise. People excited by our new look. To me, I love all of that. Having great conversations about training, about life, about clothing. That's where I'm happiest. That's where I could spend all day. But that requires energy, and that takes energy from me, but it does it in a positive way. At the end of that, I'm tired. As I've packed up, I'm in the car heading back. I have that quiet feel of, oh, that was good. And it doesn't feel like it was a lot of energy at first while you're doing it because you're excited, your adrenaline's going, you're pumped. But when it all settles, you realize just how much it took out of you, but in a good way, but you're still tired from that. So we need to do things to replenish that energy. But there's going to be aspects of our life too that we have to take care of that we don't like doing, that aren't in our comfort zone. I don't like paperwork. I don't like accounting stuff. I don't like that, but it has to get done. And I can do it, but it takes so much more energy out of me in a way that I don't enjoy. And it's not the best use of my energy, but it has to get done. And what I recommend for myself, I'm always working on, is how can I hire someone to do this for me? How can I delegate someone to do this for me? How can I find someone who's really good at it, really likes doing it, and can provide that service for me? And if I can't afford that service right now, we move towards getting to the point that we can afford it. That's another one of the mini goals we'll have along the way. Because those things still have to get done and are still important, and they will impact the fun things you like to do if they don't get done. But all that also requires a lot of energy. So what we have to do, what we have to make sure is that we find activities that are good for us that'll basically help us recharge our batteries. So we have lots of energy for the things that we love to do, but we also have the energy to do the things that we have to do, that are necessities. Because either one requires energy. So for me, the walking is one of the things that calms me, allows me to breathe. It's good for me physically. So it touches on a lot of levels overall. And then when I look at how to balance things, and that's what I mean about balance, is what can we do to balance things to the point that we have the energy, we recover, so we have more energy to move forward. That's where I like to break things down. I kind of have it like in 3 or 4 spots. So for me, mindset is super important. Mindset for me is the thing that triggers everything, that powers everything. If your head's not right about something, you're not going to get through it. So we need to focus on that. So for me, it's reading, walking, listening to a podcast, recording a podcast. These things really help with me with my mindset. They make me think. They make me focus on what I have to do. They put the right words in my head so that I think the right thoughts. It's the programming. That's not going to happen when you're knee deep doing an activity that you love and it's busy and everything's coming at you because you're in active mode, you're in action mode. That's not going to be the time you can do it when you're doing activity that's stressful, that has to get done, that you don't like doing. Your mindset has to be done before that. It has to be set going into these situations. Because when we're on the fly, we can't turn around. We can't sprint and tie our shoelaces at the same time. We need to make sure those shoelaces are tied. We need to make sure our mindset is right. That's where the rituals come in. Lately, I've been busy, so I'm not reading as much, so I'm doing more audiobooks. So when I'm in the car, I'm listening to the audiobook. When I'm walking, I'm listening to an audiobook. So I'm still getting that knowledge. I'm still getting that programming, but I'm maximizing my time. But there's times where I just like to sit and read. Writing is important too. Sitting down. Put some thoughts on paper. I have notes everywhere. It just helps my process. It helps me think more clearly. It helps me organize all the noise in my head. And then what we need to do is work on our fuel, our actual fuel. If you've been listening for the last little bit, you know I'm working on losing weight. I've lost a bunch of weight. I'm eating much better. I'm running a lot cleaner. Just last weekend, we had an axe throwing event for the gym, and I had pizza. I haven't had pizza November, December. I'm not gonna lie. It tasted phenomenal, all 6 slices of it. But the next day, even that night, didn't feel good. The fuel wasn't good. My body wasn't used to it anymore. But when we eat like that all the time, we don't realize that's what's happening. We're running sluggish. But we think that's how we're running because we're used to it. So the fuel, what we eat, what we put in our bodies, so important. The quality, the quantity, all those things matter. It's all part of the energy process. And then there's rest. A good sleeping habit. Get to bed at a certain time. Create conditions before you go to bed. I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I've got my device in bed with me and stuff like that. And when I know I'm getting behind in sleep, when I know I'm not getting the quality sleep I shut my phone off. I focus and I shut my phone off. I make a purpose decision to shut the phone off. I keep the room dark, cool. I set the alarm. And I trust the alarm's going to wake me up so I don't get there. We've all had that paranoid, oh my God, am I going to sleep through the alarm? Set the alarm. Set 2 alarms. But we need our rest. We need sleep. We need downtime. That's when our body rebuilds a lot of its hormones, is in our sleep, in our deep sleep. So if we take that away, if we limit that, we're limiting the body's capacity to recharge on a hormonal level, which has a big effect on us. And then we got to look at taking some me time. And I've really been thinking a lot about what me time means. And I think it has a few different levels to it or aspects to it. When we talk about taking time, we talk about the big vacation, going away somewhere far away. And I think that's great. We did Europe a couple of years ago. It was phenomenal. But I'll tell you right now, it wasn't a lot of me time. It was family, it was activities, there was a lot to do. I loved it. But some of my favorite parts is when I did have an hour or 2 alone. At the front of the boat, looking at the ocean at night. And I realized that I'd like more of that. So when I look at me time, I'm also looking at true time with yourself. That morning ritual where we spend that 20, 30, 40 minutes in the morning, that's some quality me time. That when you get used to doing that and then all of a sudden it's not there, you'll feel the difference. And sometimes for me, I like a drive. We had finished the meet and I had borrowed a barbell off a buddy of mine in Montreal. It's an hour and 20 minutes one way. I was happy to bring it Monday morning. I got up early, jumped in the car and drove down. It was a sunny morning. It was a great drive. Got there, had a great conversation, jumped back in the car, got back in time for work. I enjoy that. And sometimes I feel it creeping up. I feel it welling up where I realize that, you know what? Something's off. Something's starting to bug me. When you feel uncomfortable. And I realize for me, it's that me time. So depending where I'm at and what level of me time it is, it's as simple and small as that 30 minutes in the morning with your journal. That 35-minute walk outside with the fresh air and the headset on. I like looking around. I like being around things, but I also like being quiet. I like not having a conversation with someone. So depending on where I feel I need the energy, I like to escalate that me time. One of the things I'm working on right now is I want to actually go away for a weekend. Just me. And it's not going to be all hookers and blow. Actually, it's not going to be any hookers and blow. But it's going to be a place and a time where I can go and I can be quiet and I can have a journal or 2 out and I can have a couple of books and have my laptop and work on things and nap when I want to nap and take a walk when I want to take a walk and have a meal when I want to take a meal. I've done it. It's been a long time and I can feel it welling up. I need that level of me time because that's when we can get deep in how we're feeling. What we really need to think about, what's really going on in our heads. We strip away a lot of the noise. We strip away a lot of the interactions. We strip away a lot of the just distractions so we can get raw, so we can get just deep within ourselves and hear what we're trying to say. I firmly believe there's a voice in our head. I firmly believe it. And I believe that it's always trying to tell us the truth and always trying to tell us what we really need to know at the time. And either we get so caught up in what we're doing that we don't hear it, or we make ourselves so busy so we can't hear it because we don't like what it's saying. But that voice is powerful because I believe that voice truly knows you. And I think we have to every once in a while really get in touch with that. Spend some time there. And I think it's best to do it alone because then you can just deal with whatever emotion comes up, whatever thought comes up, and not worry what someone in the room is going to think or notice or see. So to me, those are the areas that we can really work on recharging our batteries. We can add things like working out, of course, strengthening our body, our energy systems, making ourselves tougher and stronger. For sure, it makes a big difference. I can see it. I can always tell, when I'm working with a new client and I tell them within 30 days, you're going to feel different. You're going to move different. You're going to have a different sense of things because you're going to be stronger and fitter. And a lot of times they'll agree with me, but I know they don't really comprehend the magnitude of what that's going to be like. But then we have that conversation. If they do stay consistent and work on the things and focus and put the effort in 30 days, and we have that same conversation, it's a very, very different experience and a very, very different level of communication because they feel it. They're in it. So it becomes about balance and energy. I think what happens if we don't do it properly, then we get caught up in crap like, can't wait for Friday. Just want to get this week over. Well, what was so bad about the week? A party because it's Friday. Well, what did you really achieve? Did you just get through your 37 and a half hours? Did you just get to the weekend where it's a little more tolerable than the weekdays? Because if that's your big accomplishment, it's not very rewarding. We've set the bar too low in this case. And then we celebrate the smallest things all the time. And the problem is when we celebrate mediocrity, when we celebrate just doing basics, what happens is we get caught there. We think we're achieving things. We think we're really doing what we want to do, and we're not. And I see it because I've been there. I see it because I work with a lot of people. And it's in the celebrations that we actually lose traction. It's in the celebrations that we overeat, we overdrink. That takes a toll on our body. Instead of getting us leaner and stronger, it goes the other way. Oh, I can't live without my Thursday night, cocktails with my friends. Well, there's some things you need to work on then. I'm not saying not celebrate true victories and milestones. Anniversaries, birthdays, those are big things. For people that mean a lot to you. Not just because it's the guy, Phil, and the 4 cubicles down from you, it's his birthday, and that's your reason to have 4 pieces of cake and 4 beers at lunch because Phil, who you never fucking talk to all year long, is having a birthday. You're just looking for an excuse, a justification. If you haven't had a chance to have fun in a long time and this is the party you're looking for, an event, I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy it. But you know what's going to happen? You're going to appreciate it because you haven't done it in a long time. When you truly set a goal, a milestone, and you hit it, you need to celebrate that. You need to take a moment and recognize it and appreciate it and take it in so that you know what it feels like and looks like so you want to do it again at a higher level. Celebrate those things. Have an extra drink on those nights. Have an extra piece of cake on that event. But don't justify doing it every Tuesday because it's Tuesday. Don't be excited that you survived another week of just doing mediocrity. I was watching or listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were talking about, and the guy's pretty cool. He talks about memes the same way I do. People's whole concept for a lot of people is that they post a couple of memes on Facebook, and to them, that's their mind setting. That's their focus. They're seizing the day. They're grinding. Rise and grind. Getting to work just on time or 10 minutes late or 5 minutes early, just showing up and doing the basics. That's not a grind. That's adulting at the very base level. It's winter and it's snowing. You know there's going to be a snowstorm. Getting up 45 minutes earlier to make sure you can get the car ready and get to work on time. Even that's not grinding. That's just being responsible. Showing up an hour and a half late for work with the excuse, well, there's snow and stuff and you did nothing to deal with it. That's not even adulting. That's just justifying bullshit. So at the end of the day, if you're truly working on yourself, if you're truly working on improving, if you're truly working on creating the life you really want for yourself, that's going to take energy. And to be able to sustain that and go further and go deeper, it's going to require more energy, higher levels of energy. To do that, you need to work on balance and you need to work on systems and routines to keep recharging that energy. You need to become that guy that just goes to bed at 10 o'clock at night because it's 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter what's on TV. Record it. Watch it later. You need to become that person that gets up at a certain time every day because that's the time you need to get up. I don't care if it's 4 a.m. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. Whatever time that you need to get up to be able to function and do the things you need to do, that's what's important. That's what works. That's what allows you to keep that energy going, get the rest and recovery that you need. You have a big day tomorrow, you have a big event, get to bed earlier. Right? Adjust yourself to rise to the occasion that's at hand. Because if you don't, your energy isn't going to be optimal. If you're not eating well or eating better, your energy isn't going to be optimal. We get away with it when we're 15 and 18 and 20 because we're 15, 18, and 20 and our hormones are at the highest. But even then, if we had eaten better and taken better care of ourselves, we would have been able to go further, easier. You watch kids nowadays are just stuffing their face with junk food. You watch adults, they're buying them the junk food, eating the same junk food. There's no good fuel in a McDonald's. There's no good fuel, coming out of a Wendy's. There is no good fuel in those places. Right? If your main lunch for you and your kids is macaroni and cheese, it's garbage. Once in a while, it's awesome. We need to focus on these things. We need to do what needs to get done. We need to do what we need to take care of to tune up our body, to maintain it so it operates at a high level of efficiency. If your car is running horribly, you take it to the garage. If you're smart, you do the preventative maintenance so you don't have to take it extra times and it runs better longer. I jokingly say guys take better care of their lawnmowers than they take care of themselves. It's about balance and it's about energy and understanding how it gets expended and understand how energy gets recreated. That's all I got to say for now on that, guys. Head on over to iTunes, leave us a positive review, 5-star rating. Head on over to Iron Horse Gear. Use the code word Silverback to save 20% on a balance and energy hoodie. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.